yeah, whenever you do it, I can just
Here we
come
on
through.
now. Good
Okay.
evening, good evening, good evening. How you guys doing? It's Mike Melton back with From Pain to Purpose podcast, episode 32. And I got a very, very special guest tonight. No other than the guy, Bruce Boyd Jr. What's up, Bruce? How you doing tonight, brother?
What's going on, brother Mike? I'm doing well. Happy to be here, and I love the things that you're doing, and
Praise
bringing the
him.
exposure of people and exposing our community to just regular people doing extraordinary things.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that, brother. All praises to the Most High, man. Bruce, I wanted to bring you on because I see the work that you're doing, brother, and I want to know, like, let the people find out, like, what inspired you to go down this road, because you seem to have a real desire to want to help kids, man, and that's something that has to be in you, and you know what I'm saying, some from
Yeah,
experiences and things like that. So that's what my whole purpose is. When I kept seeing your posts and start learning about you and different things like that, I said I gotta bring this brother on, man, so he could tell his story, man. So and I found out you from North Side. I was like, yes. But I should have known that, because North Trade Cats, we natural entrepreneurs, bro. We know how to make a business and stuff. You know how we know how to get it going, man. So
that's it. That's
thanks
it.
for thanks for coming on, Bruce. So man, we gonna kick it off, man. Let's start from the beginning, man. Growing up in Trenton, New Jersey, man.
Word, yeah. So those pictures tell a big story. A lot of people don't even understand that, right?
Mm,
When they see me, when they see the bow ties, when they see the well dressed young man that comes in, they don't know that I came from some humble beginnings. I always start
mm,
the story with I grew up in a 5 room wait, I say it like this, in a gated community in a
mm,
5 room home for 7 years of my life, and I was a stepchild, and meaning I couldn't leave those steps. So a lot of people they look they
mm.
you ain't grow up in Donley Homes. Yeah, I did. I just couldn't leave the steps. My mom wasn't having it. She wasn't having it. She couldn't leave the
Mm,
steps, bro. So she was a single mom, and she
mhm,
was just trying to protect her kids, and
mm,
growing up in the 70s and 80s in the projects. And
mm.
so it was one of those things, you come in the house, lock the door, you don't open the door,
Yeah,
you don't do nothing
yeah,
until she comes home. You make two
yeah.
phone calls, one to our grandmother, and one to our grandmother, one to my dad, and one to her. We home, and that was it. That
Facts,
was it.
facts, facts. I grew
So
up on Princeton Avenue, then I moved to Lincoln Home, so I grew up the same way, bro. The same
right,
way,
right.
bro.
So went to Jefferson School, and
Mm,
that was a family, right? That Mr. Hill was in the neighborhood, so
mm,
most of the teachers you either saw them in church, or you saw them in the neighborhood, or somewhere around, right? So
mm-hmm.
you couldn't really cut up, and that was like an extended family. So yeah, man, that was it. One of my dearest teachers, it was Mrs. Harvey. She was a fourth
Oh,
grade
that was
teacher.
mine too. What
Oh,
year was you born, bro? What year was you born?
hey, I'm about to be 55. I was born in
Oh, you ain't
71.
that. Oh, I was born 75. I was right behind you. Oh, Miss
Yeah,
Harvey, man. She was the
Miss Harvey.
realest. She was the real deal, bro.
She listen.
Yeah.
She loved hard. She was a strict teacher, and she was a
Yeah.
woman of few words. She
Facts.
she before Malcolm X did it, she was the one that would hold that finger up and point, and
Oh,
that's what
bro.
all the listen. She was the
Oh,
truth.
bro.
She was
Bro,
the truth.
she the only teacher, bro, that I ever had that she didn't even take us to lunch or specials, bro. We was so scared, we just went by ourselves, and nobody talked in the hallway or
Nobody,
nothing.
right?
Like you, like, yo, she ain't escort us nowhere, bro.
You knew not to cut up.
At
You
all,
knew
bro. At
not to
all,
cut up,
man. Miss
bro.
Harvey, man. I love Miss Harvey, bro. Word, for real, for real.
Yeah.
Where was your father at in this situation, like growing up, man? Did you have a relationship with him? Like, how was that established?
So yeah, we had a relationship. And what I tell young people, before I knew
Mm,
what I wanted to be in life, I knew what I didn't want to be. And
mm,
part of that was I knew I didn't want to be a weekend dad,
Mm,
because that's what my dad was. He was a weekend dad. The way custody went, we would go to him every other weekend, and
mm,
Mondays and Tuesdays was his days off.
mm,
So some days we would go to his house on Mondays and Tuesdays. Some days we didn't because he would work overtime.
mm.
So we would see him some days and some days we didn't. On the weekends,
Uh,
Friday, Saturday, Sundays, we lived for it to go get out the projects because he
mhm,
lived on Boot Knot. So we
mhm,
would go down to
mhm.
Boot Knot,
Yeah.
to get out the projects and go down to Boot Knot down the hill and just have fun.
Mm, mm.
So he was a practical guy, not a lot of money. So he just took us to the parks. We would go
Yeah,
to the
yeah,
parks
yeah, yeah.
and bring out a little hibachi and cook and play back, just throw a ball around, ride our bikes at Washington Crossing Park, stuff
Mhm.
like that,
Yeah.
exposing us to outside of the hood. So
Mhm.
that's
That's
where I get a
important.
lot of that exposure from. It's just from him, you know.
Yeah, that's
My
important.
mom, she
Mhm.
was she was my mom. She was our mom, but it wasn't that she did a lot for us during those times. We would get sent to our grandmother's house. We would get sent to our great aunt house in
Mhm.
Matawan, aunt and uncle house. I love going there. I wrote about that part in the book. That was the first time I saw Black people talk a different language. I didn't
Mm.
realize it. I was
Mhm.
like, "What are these people? Did I get to a different country or something?" But
Mm.
they was out on the farm. They were migrant workers, but
Mm.
they was out there
Wow.
so long. They looked like us, right? They were
Mm.
brown skinned, but they were either some kind of Hispanics. I don't know what they were. I was
Mm.
young, but that's what it was. So yeah, I had a great relationship with my dad.
That's good. That's good, brother. That's
Yeah.
good. I didn't when I was growing up, we got it together. We got it together really after I went through my tragedy. We went through hell for years. But I
Hmm.
thank God that we got it together. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
While we both still here. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
that was
Right.
a missing piece, as you probably know with the kids you deal with in your program, especially the boys. You know what I mean? So what you in Jefferson, then you go to junior one. Take me through those years, bro.
Nah, so the crazy thing about it is once I left Jefferson, my mom and her husband, we moved out of the projects and we moved on
Mm.
Parkside Avenue.
Okay, okay,
So
okay.
I was destined to go to junior three,
Mm.
but my mom wasn't having it.
Junior three was wild, then, bro.
Ju- Look, junior
Junior
three
three was wild,
has that
bro.
repetition, right?
Yeah, yeah. Around that time, yeah, yeah. It was crazy. Then it
Around
was
that time
crazy.
and
Yeah,
now. So you got
yeah,
to think this is a span of 40 something years. That school has just had a reputation.
yeah.
And so then my dad had then moved off of Bootnot and moved out Wilbur section.
Mm.
So I ended up going to junior two for
Mhm.
for junior high.
Okay,
So
okay.
I went out to junior two and then to Trenton High. Junior two was okay, They had messed my records up, bro. That was the craziest thing because you was in Miss Harvey class
Yeah,
and Miss Thomas class
yeah.
and
Me
Miss
too.
Hill class. You was always
Facts. Yeah, at the top. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The first class. I know.
right.
Yeah, I know. I know.
So because they messed up my records for whatever reason, I get to junior two, and I'm in, and that was a crazy thing back then. They will tell you numbers. You seven
Yeah,
ones.
8A, 7A, 7B. Yeah, like that. Yeah.
Oh well, at junior two it was numbers.
Word.
Yeah, it was numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I was
Mm.
a 7-6. Bro,
Oh
the work
man.
that we were doing back then, I was like, yo, something ain't right. This is too easy. But not having any advocates,
Wow.
nobody to say anything. I just had to
Wow.
I bared it and grinned and through that whole seventh grade year, eighth grade year, I went from 7-6 to 8-2. And people was
Mm.
like, what the heck? Well,
Mhm.
they finally got it
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
8-2 to 9-1 in my ninth grade year.
Mhm.
So yeah, man. So it was, school was just that thing where as young people, you trying to identify, trying to find yourself,
Yeah,
trying to do
yeah.
different things. Try. And I wasn't from Wilbur section. That was the
That's what I
other
was
thing.
about to say. How North Trent Cat? How did you get greeted out there?
I wasn't from, but the great thing was my dad had moved into my grandmom's house.
Okay.
So my grandmom had moved into a senior home,
Mm-hmm.
and so he had moved in that house. But because I was every summer, I was spending time in Wilbur section. We would be at my grandmom's house from time I was 3 years old till the time she left. So I knew friends on South Walter. I knew friends
Okay.
on Kyler.
Good
So I
job.
had
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So I'm like one of those people. I grew up Wilbur section, West Trenton, North Trenton, everywhere but South Trenton. So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
everywhere
It
but
did.
South
It
Trenton.
did.
So it was
It did.
always that thing. Like I had friends everywhere, but I didn't have friends anywhere. Because I was always there just for a moment, right? So I was in North Trenton for a moment, 6 years. I was down the hill for maybe 4 years. So I met people, but I wasn't never part of the community. Like nobody can say, "Oh man, I grew up with him."
Yeah, kind
Because
of like Tupac. They say that about Tupac. They say the same thing about
yeah,
him. Yeah.
yep. So
Indeed.
so it was cool though. I made a
Mm-hmm.
lot of friends, and then just going to the high school, that was just
Yeah.
bananas at the high school.
Yo, I do, man. That's like going there. I remember when I went, that's when they called it the zoo, bro. I wanted to go to
Right,
another school so
right,
bad, bro.
right,
I went up to Monticello, New York to visit my grandmom and them, and I begged them to let me come up there. I was like, I don't want to go to the school no more, this and that. But I got an uncle that's younger than me, and they was like, we got to deal with him, and they older. You know what I mean? It's my grandma. She was like, nah, you can't come. And I was mad because I was a straight A student and a baseball player. I wasn't causing no problems. I just say what, but it still taught me, like, no matter where you at, if you apply yourself and do what you're supposed to do, you don't gotta engage, man. You don't gotta
right.
engage, man. How was your experience up there, man?
So my experience, one of I was okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was always working, so I wasn't really there. So I had part-time jobs I was a Quaker Bridge Mall brat. I worked. I worked a lot of jobs, and I never did fast food. Never did fast food. So I worked at Foot Locker. I worked at Wilson Suede and Leather. I worked at what was the name of that place? The Children's Place. So
Oh yeah, I remember all them spots.
yeah,
I remember all them
yeah.
spots.
So I was always working. So my senior year, I was just did my 3 classes and I was out. I was going to work. Yeah, so that's the only thing I regret, and that's how I go hard now for my young people. Say, don't rush to get old. Don't rush to work. Enjoy, because you're only going to be a kid for 18 years. You got the rest of your life to be an adult and make these adult decisions and be responsible for work. And I try to tell young people and their parents, don't put your kid in a situation where they have to work.
Where did you develop that responsible mindset that young to be focused like that?
Well, bro, I was afraid of my mom.
Me too.
So when your friends, your other family members, they selling drugs, getting money, and and then they like, we ain't got no money to give you. Back then, big thing was Union Bay. We can't afford Union Bay.
Yeah.
So any of those expensive things they couldn't afford. My mom just said, I can't afford you.
Wow.
So I got out there and I was like, you ain't gonna laugh at me. You're not gonna laugh at me. You're not gonna pick on me. So I just start working, and work became that drug. Work is a drug.
It is, definitely is. What did you, in terms of going to college, was you looking at 4-year schools, or you just always knew you was going to Mercer?
No, I was listen, I was on the track to go to, I was taking all college classes, college prep classes at the high school. And then one day after taking the SATs the second time, my mom just sat me down and was like, "You ain't got no money to send you to school."
Mm,
And I'm like, "What the hell?
mm,
We spent that money on your sister. We don't have any
mm,
money." But my mom, my dad, my step pop, they were all blue collar workers. None of them went to college. So it
mm,
wasn't like they understood or they knew. Again, they weren't advocates. They didn't ask questions. They didn't know about scholarships or whatever the case. They didn't know.
mm,
And all they knew is it was expensive to send my sister. I was 3 years behind her, and it wasn't going to happen.
mm.
So at the high school, I had a guidance counselor. She's the one who really saved my life, Miss Trueheart.
She was
Miss
my guidance counselor too.
Look at this.
That was my lady, bro. That was my
Oh,
lady, bro. I remember my
yes.
my sophomore year when I was telling you I wanted to go to New York, right?
Right.
I was cutting up, man. I was cutting up, man. And Miss Fryer,
Oh, gosh, Miss
Miss Fryer took me to Miss Trueheart. Miss Fryer called Miss Trueheart, and they had a conference with my mom, man. And they was like, "This dude is not touching none of his potential." And then
Mm,
my mom started crying, and then when I saw my mom cry, I was like, "I can't go out like this." Yo, Miss
mhm.
Fryer, we used to be like, all right. So Miss Fryer told me one day, she was like, I used to just crack jokes. I just was like, I got class clown, senior class, but this is 10th grade year, so I'm on
Right.
fire. She said, please do me a favor. Just let me teach the class first, and I'll give you the last 15 minutes, and you could just do you. Like, cause you're not gonna you
Right.
gotta promise me though that you're gonna teach the class this and this and blah blah blah. And man, I turned it around, and you remember how she used to do at the end of the market period? She write your grade on that piece of paper and go.
Yep.
Yo, she gave me a high grade. I was gassed, like yo, and I turned it around, man. But yeah, go ahead. You go ahead with Miss Trueheart. Yeah,
Yeah,
Miss
man.
Trueheart, that
So
was
Miss
my girl,
Trueheart.
yo.
So
Yeah, yeah.
I had went to Miss Trueheart because and this is my life is what I tell young people now. I'm like, you can have your friends, you can talk to your friends, but your friends is trying to figure it out too.
Mm,
So you got to make a friend that already went through what you've been through or already know what avenues and everything else. So I went to Miss Trueheart. I was like, listen, I really want to go to college, but my mom said she ain't got no money. And
mhm,
Miss Trueheart looked at me and she was like, all right, come to my office. So I went to her office. This was like in February. I go to her
mhm,
office and bro, she hands me an application to work for the state of New Jersey.
mm,
And I'm like, she must didn't understand what I was saying. I'm telling her I want to go to college. And
mhm,
here she is handing me this application for the state of New Jersey. And I ducked her. I ducked Miss
mm,
Too Hard. And that was my girl. I had study hall with her and everything. And I ducked her. I ducked
mm,
her. I was like, I'm out. I don't even want to talk to her no more. Like she didn't believe in my potential. She didn't believe in me.
mm.
That's how I was feeling, but I didn't know how to articulate that as a
Yeah,
17-year-old kid. Like
yeah,
you're another adult that just disappointed me.
yeah.
So, one day she caught up with me. She caught up with me. She was like, "You come with me right now," and I'm like, "Ah." Go in her office. She said, "Sit down, fill that out." She made me fill it out right then, bro.
Mm,
Filled it out, and she was like, "You're not understanding. This is a great opportunity because it's a first time this has ever happened, and there's an intern program. They're going to pay you,
mm.
and they're going to send you to school. You're
Wow.
going to it's
See,
like a work study." And half the day I would go to the state and work. The other half I would go to Mercer County. All I had to do
dang,
was maintain a B, and they was paying for everything.
you almost blocked your blessings, bro.
Almost blocked the blessing. Miss
Yeah.
Trueheart
Wow.
almost blocked the blessings because
Wow.
not understanding. There it is, and that's why I started working for the state of New Jersey. Yep.
Wow.
And so I always thank Miss Trueheart because she saved my life. She could have just let it go. She could have just let it
Mm.
go. Like, yo, this dude, let him figure it out. But
She
she
did the
she
same
was
thing.
like, nah.
She did the same thing for me, bro. They called my mom and bro, and they was on me. Like We ain't tolerating none of this. And I ended
Right.
up getting it together, man. You know what I'm saying? I ended
Yep.
up getting it together. So you working for the state, man. You for years and
Yeah.
stuff. You get, yeah. You get in a.
So
Go ahead.
yeah, man. So that's the great part. Like, I started working for the state, and my
Mm-hmm.
first supervisor was a short Jamaican woman, and it was just like, yo, it was just crazy because in the department here I am leaving, graduating in June of '89, and August of '89, I'm now an employee at the state of New Jersey. Went
Mm-hmm.
from a predominantly what back then it was probably 85% black and
Mm-hmm.
15% Hispanic and a few whites to flip the script. In that
Yeah.
department, it was just like 98% white people. And I ain't never
Mm.
deal with white people like that. I never had to
Yeah.
deal with white people like that. So it was just like a culture shock.
Mm-hmm.
And first day on, it was a Monday, and Mondays were staff meetings for some weird reason. So she, secretary walks me up. I meet her, and she was the direct. She was like the bureau chief. And
Mm-hmm.
so next thing I know, we're in the conference room. She was like, grab it. Here's a pen. Here's a pad. We're going to the conference room. Go to the conference room, and they throwing out all these big words and stuff. And I'm like, what is going on right now? You know.
Uh-huh.
But that's how I structured my program when I first started. I was like, this is
Mm.
what business is, and I can honestly say that they don't school did not prepare me for the workforce. You
Wow.
know, it did not
Wow.
prepare me for the workforce. And to this day, it's so many kids that's leaving high school, they're not prepared for the workforce. They're not.
Facts.
They're,
Facts.
they're not. They may be prepared for the workforce in terms of some kind of blue collar work. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it
Mm-hmm.
don't take much to uh, work at a factory. It
Yeah.
don't take much to pump gas. It don't take much to make a sandwich. But if you want to jump into that white collar world, it's
It's
a
a whole
different
different
game.
ball game. It's a whole
Yeah,
different ball game. It's
yeah,
definitely a whole
yeah.
different ball game. Whole different ball game. So when did you meet your? That was your first wife you was with at first. This was when you had your child. That was the first wife.
Oh, my girlfriend. That's
Or your
not. I
girlfriend?
only been
Yeah.
married
Okay.
once, bro.
Okay. Okay. So when did you meet your girlfriend and have and that relationship started?
Well, I met her at DEP. I met her
Okay.
at DEP.
Uh-huh.
She was still going to college. She was going to college in Philly,
Uh-huh.
and she was coming down working and everything else. And we met in at DEP,
Mm-hmm.
and we had our first child. Yep,
Mm.
yep. And so then she was still going to school for a little bit, but then she started working.
Mm-hmm.
And we both young trying to figure it out. Both young trying to figure it out. Living together and no guidance. That's what I was
Mm.
talking up to. There was really no guidance to guide young people into you know um, having kids. No one
Facts.
talks to you.
Facts.
No one talks to you about that stuff, right?
Facts.
No one.
Facts. Facts.
You learn by what you saw,
Mm-hmm.
and basically what you saw was a lot of dysfunction.
Mm.
When you growing up, like you, that, it's not normal to be in split homes.
I
That's not
know.
normal,
I know.
right?
I know. I
So,
know.
and then if the second person, meaning my dad never exposed us to, like, he would never expose us to, like, whatever he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So we never saw my dad with another woman. I say it like that. But
Mm-hmm.
on the other end, we saw my mom. She got remarried, and that was not. So many times we question, like, dang, my dad is this Bible toting Christian playing music all the time. That's such a drag. Like, what happened? Like,
Mm.
why they get divorced, right?
Mm.
But on the other end, there was a lot of drinking, alcohol, parties.
Mm-hmm.
On this other end with my mom, and then there was a lot of fighting and cussing and throwing people out. that's I look back on that stuff. I was like, yo, I survived some dysfunction.
Facts.
But you know,
Facts.
James Baldwin often says children seldom listen to you, but they often
Mm,
emulate you. And
that's deep.
so,
That's real. That's real.
right.
That's
So,
real.
when you start to think about that stuff, you learn so much, not by words, but by people actions. You learn what what you perceive love is through what
Mm-hmm.
you think your parents are going through, or whoever your mom is with, whoever your dad is with.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's what love look like. And I have
Facts.
to tell people these days, love don't hurt.
Mm-hmm.
When you start crying over somebody and you start doing this, that ain't the one. Love
Yeah, I
don't make you
know.
cry over somebody.
I went
Love don't
through it,
make
bro.
you put hands
I
on
went through it.
somebody.
I went through it with
Yeah.
my first wife. It was like I grew up in that kind of thing where like my mom was super strict, bro. My dad wasn't ever there, so my mom was super strict because she raising us in North Trenton. She ain't never want me to go to jail. Like my mom was like over the
Mhm.
top with it. I was scared of her, like you was talking about. But what how it affected me though when I got in relationships, especially with like I would find a woman that appeared to be nice and stuff like that. But as soon as I felt like that, I conquered her, then I chased somebody else because I was really chasing my mom
Mhm.
love in the
Yeah.
process. You get what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And
I
and
got you. Yep.
and once they start trying to love me and wanting to hug me and be, I didn't understand why I was so uncomfortable. Like, what's
Right.
wrong with me? You know what I'm saying? That's what
Yeah.
happened with my first wife. I suffered from that. Like she was real emotional and touchy feely and wanting to be up under me. And I didn't know what was wrong with me until I went to rehab for alcohol and I did the steps and I got to the bottom of it. Before that, I didn't
Mhm.
know what was
Right.
wrong with me, bro. Like why this makes me feel so uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But it came from the dysfunction growing up. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I didn't know that at the time. You know what I'm saying? So um how bad do you think that your growing up impacted your relationship with her?
Oh, it wasn't just with her. It was with, you know, most of my relationship with women. It was,
Mm,
yeah, yeah. It was just that. I had to do a deep dive, man, and I start
mm,
apologizing to women that I
yeah.
used to be with because, hey, it was so much emotional abuse that I didn't even realize it until I
Mm.
realized it, right?
Wow. That's deep. That's deep.
And
Making them
so,
amends. Making them amends. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
had to,
Yeah.
yeah, because you just don't know. And again, like I said, you think that what you're doing is right because that's all you know.
Facts.
That's
Facts.
all you know. And so then
Facts.
it's like, no, that's not right. Even with my first son, like I apologize to him all the time because
Mm,
you know I told him this is what I thought was being strict, beating the hell out of him, doing all these
mm,
different things. And then I realized, yo, no, that's not love. That's
mm,
not love. People be saying that I'm going to beat you because if they beat you, they ain't. No, no. Well, guess what? No, no, no. You
mm,
don't beat a kid and think that kid is going to understand that as love. What you're teaching that kid is hurt somebody, and that's love. And
mm,
that's what that term hurt people,
mm.
right? So, I don't my last son, he's 14. I don't have to beat him. I don't that's
That's
not a
dope,
thing.
man.
That's not
That's
a
a
thing in
blessing, bro.
my
That's a,
house. You're not
that's a
beating nobody,
blessing, man. That's a
you
blessing.
know.
So take me to the moment where you went through the tragedy that started you on your path to your purpose.
So, yeah, so that was 1993. We had our first son and we just went through it. Went through it. We
Mm,
went through it, love, be together apart, be together apart. Then it got to the point I was working two jobs, and one day I came home from my part-time job and the house was empty. She had bounced
mm,
on me and took our son.
mhm,
And then I, get the courts involved and everything. Then she comes back and we trying to make it happen. And still couldn't get it right. She was
mm,
boisterous, I'm boisterous, and we just couldn't get it right. But in the meantime, we still loving on each other. Like that's the
How
thing
to-
that's the thing that's supposed to bring everything back together, right?
yeah, the toxic relationship. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. I know, I know.
Yeah, right. So so she leaves again. And this time she leaves me with my son. So now it's like I'm raising a 1.5. He was like, no, she left me before that. So he was one. He was
Mm,
already 1 years old. And so she leaves me with a 1 year old. And I don't know, some part of February. February is things always kind of happen in February, March, and we talk, and then next thing I know, she's saying she's pregnant,
mm.
but now she's living in Texas, right? And I'm like, oh wow, you okay? You pregnant with my child? And it was like, yeah. So it was doing one of them get-togethers
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, yeah. I know what you said.
And so I'm like, all right, and we go down there, me and my son. We go down there and we see the baby, and she looks exactly like my son. They look like twins. They just
Mm,
my son, and it was crazy because my son was turning. Um, my son had turned 2, and
mhm.
she was just being born, and they 3 days apart. He's 6'16" and she was 6'13", and
Wow.
so um and it was crazy because he was supposed to be born on 6'13" and he came on 6'16", and she was supposed to be born on 6'16" and she came on 6'13".
Wow.
Crazy as that would be.
Yeah.
And so we go down there. By that time, 95, I got laid off. I
Mm,
got laid off from the state, and everything was surrounding the state. It got me a
mhm,
state job. I got me a pension. I'm good. And I get laid off.
mm,
And so now I got one baby, one been born, and um, I'm like, damn, now what? But I had a little bit of money. We fly out to Texas, see the baby, and like, okay, we're gonna make this work. We're
mm,
gonna make this work. And the whole idea was for her to meet me in Florida
mhm,
and reunite with the rest of the family because we were going to be in Florida for my birthday.
mhm,
And we were all gonna. She was gonna fly from Texas with our daughter, meet up in Florida, and then we'll just come back to Trenton and raise our family. Bro, we on a bus trip, so we halfway to Florida. Wake up the next morning, and now we got cell phones, so we talking, and she calls me, and I'm like, hello. And she was like really soft voice. And I'm like, what's going on? You just woke up? She was like, no, no, she's gone. And I'm
whoa.
like, what? What are you talking about? Who's gone? And she was like, Monica, she's gone. And I'm like, no, 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 no. No. What do you mean she's gone? We have all these plans, we have all these dreams, we have all these things for her. I've already envisioned her whole life. What do you
Mm,
mean she's gone? She, what did you, then I did that, Mike. Well, what did you do?
mm, mm,
Here she is in the emergency room all by herself. I'm not even there. And I'm
mm,
asking her, what did she do?
mm.
So here it is. It was the day before my birthday.
Wow, bro.
It
So
was
you
the
had to
day before
experience
my
that,
birthday.
bro.
So we ended up that day, we end up going, the bus goes to Florida, and I'm on the phone making phone calls and everything. So I leave Florida right before the hurricane came. It was
Mm,
a hurricane coming, so people was trying to leave. It was a whole mess. But I get a flight out to go to Texas, and the next day, bro, on my birthday, my 24th birthday, I'm in the funeral home making arrangements to bury my 8-week-old daughter.
What's going through your mind at that point, bro?
It, it it was the first time I ever heard of SIDS. I was like, what is SIDS? That,
Mm,
and I guess it was the first time, and I never understood, like, how can a she had just went to the doctors the day before, got a clean bill of health. Like, how do you just die after getting a clean bill of health? You didn't get your shots. It wasn't none of those type of things. It was just, so what was going through my head is like, I'm supposed to be celebrating. I'm supposed to be
mm,
bringing my family together, and here I am, 24 years old, losing a child,
mm,
and I wasn't there. And so those were the things that was going on in my head. Like, if I was there? Would she have been sleeping on my chest, or instead of being in the
mhm,
crib,
mhm,
or
mhm,
maybe I could have hurt? All these type of
mhm,
things just go through your mind. It was going through my mind, like, you know. And I think part of that was like it was still that thing in the back, like, did she do something?
mm.
So, because it just, I'm 24,
Yeah,
man. It just don't make sense. I
yeah,
never, no one in my family, and no one has ever had a kid that had died at 8 weeks.
yeah, yeah,
So it's like, yo, it gotta be something, you know,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know. So yeah, so I'm down there all alone because none of my immediate family went with me.
Mhm.
So none of my immediate family came down there. None of them came to the funeral. I'm all alone, bro. I'm
Wow,
all
bro.
alone. Just me and a bunch of strangers and my son.
Mm,
And so, they would call me, but it wasn't like somebody, I didn't have nobody to hug. I didn't have nobody to
yeah,
say, you know? So that
yeah.
was just that piece. I was all alone, all alone. And I was in the room, and this lady came in the room, and she said, "Can I talk to you?" And I'm like, "Okay." And she said, "Can I pray with you first?"
Mm,
And I was like, "Is there really a God? you
mm,
know,
yeah, yeah.
is there really a God?
I've been there.
Like,
Yeah.
what we praying for? You can't bring her back. And why would God kill? Now I'm like, why would God let a 8-week-old baby die? Like, all right, lady, we can pray. All right, if that's what you want. So she's praying, and then she prays into tongues, and I'm like, oh, what's going on now? I'm in
Mhm.
Texas. I'm like, what's going on, bro? What is going on?
Wow.
So then she start after she does that, she was like, listen, I don't know what this is, but the spirit is telling me your daughter didn't die in vain. You have an anointing over your life. And I'm like, what, lady? Like,
Wow.
you
Wow.
you are she said, I see in your future you're going to lead a bunch of men. You're going to lead people, and you're going to
Mm.
change lives of so many because of your daughter. And I'm like, what are you talking about, lady?
Wow.
I just got laid off from work. What are you talking
Yeah,
about? I'm shaking my
yeah,
head.
yeah.
Like, what are you talking
Uh-huh.
about?
That was
I'm
that bottom.
I'm 24
Yeah.
years old. What are you talking about? I'm gonna lead men and all this other crap. Like, all right, lady, all right, all right, all right. But you know, um, she just started prophesizing all these things, and I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, whatever, lady. Okay, thank you. We hugged, and she said, you are one of the great ones. And I was like, okay, all
Mm.
right, you know.
Mm.
And I never saw that lady again in my life.
Mm.
I can't even remember her.
Mm.
Can't even remember. Don't even remember if she was at the funeral. I never saw her again in my life.
Mm.
And bro, I came back, and remember when I said before I knew what I wanted to be, I knew what I didn't want to be. So yeah, I wasn't a weekend dad. I was a full-time dad.
Wow.
And so his mom came back. She came back. We said, we're going to make this happen. We're going to, here we go. We're going to make this happen. We're going to make this happen.
Uh-huh.
And lo and behold, nope, he didn't make it
Yeah,
happen.
yeah,
And
yeah.
she left again.
Mm-hmm.
And so here I am, a full-time single father. Now I'm raising a two and a half year old boy by myself. And there was no books. It wasn't no
Mm-hmm.
books. When you think about life, is always what to do for the expected mother, what to do for this, what to
Yeah,
do for that. There wasn't no book to say, you're a single father.
yeah,
Here's the
yeah.
steps.
Facts, facts.
There
Yeah,
wasn't no
everybody,
book for that.
you just got to figure it out. Men, we got to figure it
Figure it
out.
out. Figure
Yeah,
it out. Right.
yeah.
And so, and there was no Mike, there was no other examples either.
Mm.
There was no other man that I knew of. None of my cousins, none of my uncle, nobody that I knew of that was a single father.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody
Yeah, that's
else was
deep.
with
Yeah,
moms,
yeah, yeah. That makes sense. A whole lot of
right?
sense. Yeah.
So here I was raising my 2-year-old, and being everything that my father wasn't to me, being there at school, being there for everything, and it got noticed. I was, from the
Mm.
time he went to school, I was there. I was like, whatever he's doing, he's not ever going to have to look around and ask, where's my dad?
That's dope,
Because I was
bro.
going to be there, you
That's
know.
dope, bro. That's dope.
Yeah, so that was that piece. Before I knew what I wanted to be, I knew how I felt when I was doing things in school, because I was play in the plays. I played an instrument, so it was, Jefferson. They
Yeah,
had all
yeah,
these things
yeah. All
going
that
on,
stuff. Yeah.
you know. And you can look at the
Yeah,
audience, and it'd be people there, and every time I
yeah.
looked in the audience, my dad wasn't there, you
Facts.
know.
Facts. I've been
And
there. I've
and
been there.
so for me, I was like, nah, he ain't gonna have to worry about looking in the audience and wondering, is someone gonna be there. He gonna know I was there. And so we was at PJ Hill School, and just going through the process of being a dad, figuring it out, not getting no child support. I tell people that all the time. That was weird, right? You're a man.
Yeah.
You're a man. Now you want to ask somebody for some child support, you
Yeah.
know?
Wow.
Nah, so when I tell people that, like, nah, I wasn't going to court, be like, yo, I'm gonna put you on child support. Nah, I'm gonna figure it out. I gotta do what I gotta do. And so, Mr. Bethea, I don't know if you remember Mr. Bethea. Um,
Alex.
yeah,
Yeah,
Mr.
I know
Alex
Alex.
Bethea.
That's my
Yep,
guy.
yep.
I know Alex.
Mr. Bethea, he was the vice principal at PJ Hill School at that point. He was the vice principal, and it was this group that was forming. Now my son now was probably in fourth or fifth grade at that point, and it was forming this group. It was called Dads Are Doing Something. It was a
Mm.
national program, but they were bringing a charter to Trenton. And so um, he had that southern swang. He's like, hey, Mr. Boyd,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
join this group, man. I want you, hey, you're a fantastic dad. I want you to go over to the Board of Education and just check it out.
You sound just like him.
Right?
Oh, you sound
And
just
I
like
was
him.
like, nah, I ain't got no time for that stuff. Nah, it's guys just like you. I was like, all
Mm.
right, yeah, that's all good. All right. So I missed the first one. Here I go again. This Miss Trueheart thing, right? I
Yeah,
missed
I
the first one.
understand. Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Boyd, I ain't see you down at the board, man. There's some good things. I need to see you down there to represent PJ Hill School. I'm like, all right, okay. So I go. And this guy was talking, the founder of the program. It was cool. It was like a great opportunity to meet other guys, other administrators, and everything else. And I'm like, all right, this is cool. I check it out, and I go to the next meeting, and then I'm feeding into this vision, right? Like, yeah, this is
Mm.
good. Some older guys, some guys my age, and I'm like, all right, yeah, this sounds good. Yeah, I can, this is cool. Comes down to a mic. Um, now we go through this training. Next thing you know, he's like, all right, gotta have a president, gotta have somebody that runs this organization for the Trenton chapter. I'm
Wow.
I'm 29 years old, bro.
Wow.
I ain't never run nothing. I'm just the truth be told, if anything, the only thing I was running was women, right? So
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
geez, now, so it's all these older cats in there, and I'm like, all right, but crazy thing when all men come together like that, it was all good when the founder was administrating the meetings and everything
Yeah,
else. Now
yeah.
it's time. Nobody wanted to step up.
Mm.
Hey, nobody, everybody, all these men, all these bravado men wanted to
Mhm.
just take that role of just sitting back.
Mm.
So I was like, hey, I'll throw my hat in the ring.
Mm.
I said, well, I'll be the president, right? Next thing I know, this other guy said, well, I'll be the president. And I was like, thank God. Here he is. He stands up. And it wasn't just enough that you just say, I'm going to be the president. Now you got to say why you want to be
Mhm.
the president. Now you got to give this impromptu speech to.
Mhm.
So I tell him why and everything else. And I say some stuff. But then he gets up. He's like, yeah, I'm a grandfather. My kids went through this system, blah, blah, blah. I worked at AT&T, or yeah, it was AT&T corporate. I retired from corporate. I got time, so I'm like, all right, leadership skill. Look, I'm checking it off. All right,
Yeah, he the guy.
he the guy.
Yeah.
And come to find out, it was a secret vote. Everybody heard the two of us, and it was a secret vote. And I became the leader of this organization. Dads are doing something, the Trenton chapter.
Wow.
Just 5 years after this stranger told me I would lead men.
Mhm. Wow.
And it was like crazy, bro. Crazy.
Wow. Wow.
And
It was God. It was God, brother. It
and
was God.
so here I am leading this group of men and bringing all those different attributes back into the schools.
Mhm.
We had a lunch with dads. Um, so we had we had game night. We started with dad's night out. That was the big thing because men don't come to schools.
Mm.
And it's crazy. It seems men don't come to schools. The only time a man would come to the school is when a woman would be like, you better go get your son. I'm tired of going
Mhm.
up to that school. You better go to that school. And they
Mhm.
always come in, men always come in as the disciplinarian.
Mm.
You think about that, like they always come in as the disciplinarian. They always was coming in back then.
Mhm.
That's what men came to school for, to set it straight, let them know you're going to stop cutting up in school.
Mhm.
And so we said we got to get men involved in the schools because part of the training was he was talking about how when men are involved, the school violence go down, education goes up, and all these things. And I'm like, I fed into it. I was like, all right, makes sense.
Mhm.
So how do we get the men in schools? So we did the one thing, unconventional thing. We had Dad's Night Out, and
Mm.
Dad's Night Out was simply you just come to the school. We play board games. It was board games, um, video games. We had TV set up. Then some of them they could watch a movie in one part, and then they could shoot, just different things. We didn't really play basketball at those events, but it was just all these other activities that you could do.
Mhm.
Then we'll bring all the men in the room and tell them what we've learned. Like, hey,
Wow.
you show up, hey, this is what's going to happen. So I coined the term, when you drop in, you prevent your children from dropping out.
That's dope. That's dope.
Right. So
Yeah.
that was the thing that sold it. Like, yeah, when you drop in and you show an interest in what your child is doing in school, you prevent them from dropping out because now they want to please you. Now you can ask questions. Now you can have all this conversation with your kids. So yeah, man, that's what happened. And we started Dad's Night Out, and we formed basketball teams, bro.
Wow.
Schools had basketball teams. So Stoke School would go over out to Wilbur section to play Junior 2, where another dad set was at. And so
That's dope. That's dope.
and
That's
so,
dope.
bro, so what
That's dope.
happened with that? Not only would the dads from that school, now the kids from that school would come, the women from that school, they would have
Wow.
cheerleaders, all this, right? The moms would be cheerleaders,
That's dope, man.
and we would bring in communities together, bro. Like people that really, so we broke down those individual barriers, right? We broke
Mm-hmm.
them down, and things were moving smooth. Then we started um lunch with me, have lunch with me. So schools will do these lunch things that they have handwritten letters that went home to the parent, to the dads, and it
Mm-hmm.
was simple, man. We was using Heavenly Ham. They would make the box lunches. So
Mm-hmm.
all the kids would have to do is say, "Hey, Dad, will you have lunch with me?"
That's
And
dope, bro.
it costs $5. So if Dad says yes, he checked off what he wanted, roast beef, this, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
This was the lunch. He sends the $5 in for that lunch. He didn't have to stop and get lunch. He just come to the school and have lunch with his kid. Sit at
That's
the
dope, bro.
lunchroom table.
That's dope, bro.
Non-intimidating things
Yeah.
that made a big difference in a child's life. And what we did with that, Mike, is we took a picture, and that child would get a picture of their dad having lunch with them.
That's dope, man.
And so my dad ain't never had lunch with me. My
Mine
dad
ain't
never,
never coming. My dad never came into my schools neither. He came to watch me play baseball one time, but he never came into my schools before.
right,
That's yeah,
right.
that's deep. That's deep, bro. That's
So
deep.
then the last part, Mike, and it was crazy because I was moving now. I
Yeah.
had I had like 100 men involved in the
Mm,
program. We was
mm,
moving strong. We had um walk with me, walk take me to school day, something like that. It
mm.
was called. It was just it was before they even had dads and donuts. It was just come to the school, um, go to the cafeteria, and we were going to have this conversation. So we galvanized this thing where we were in like maybe 10 schools.
Mm-hmm.
On one day, all of the district was having this program.
I think I saw pictures of that years ago.
Yeah, that
I think
one
I
day
saw
we
pictures
had
of that.
over it made the news. We had over 1,600 men
Wow.
across the district going
Wow.
into school just for one purpose, just to meet their child's teacher.
That's dope, bro.
One reason they walked their child to the school, walked to the class, met the teacher, and then they came to the cafeteria and we had conversation about what it means for men to be involved. Because here's the thing, men knew, just like we could talk about sports all day long, and you can say, who's your what's your favorite team, right?
Lakers.
All right, who's starting five?
I don't know. I don't even really watch basketball no more. Really, I ain't gonna
But
even lie to
but
you. Yeah.
at one
Oh
point
yeah,
you
yeah. I
knew, right?
was I was heavy in basketball. Yeah.
Right. So now I would say to you, uh, I would say to the fathers, all right, your football team, this, you know them, right? Tell me your child's teachers' names.
Mm,
The most important thing that you have to know
that's deep.
is your child, and you don't even know the strangers that you are
That's
entrusting your
deep.
kids with.
That's deep, bro.
So that hit home, and men got it, and they was like, "Yo, we showing up,
That's
we
deep.
showing
That's
up,
deep.
we
That's
we
deep.
showing
That's
what
deep.
you got going on," and they look forward to it.
Now,
So
how did you
go ahead.
feel when you remember going through the vote and then you become the president? And then,
Scared?
no, I'm talking about after you
Uh,
saw the 1,600 came. Like, how did you feel
oh,
when you like when you look back at the moment and you see, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I
right,
really, you know what I'm saying? Because I had that kind of moment. One time I was at Hoop Group. That's why I used to do my tournaments at, and down in Neptune. And I had teams come in from like all over one day. And then I was standing upstairs looking, and I just had that moment of like, all this came from a thought.
right.
And this is really happening right now. You get what I'm saying? Like, take me to that moment
Yeah.
and how you felt when that day of the 1,600.
Yeah, so I didn't know. I knew at my school because that
Mhm.
was the competition. So I'm
Okay.
always competitive. So each dad
Uh-uh.
was, the school dad was responsible for taking the sheets and saying how many
Uh-huh.
people came to this school. So I was like, yo, my school, PJ Hill, we had over 300 cats come out that day.
Mm.
Yep. And so I was like, because we had to get the word out. I
Mhm.
had to come out there in the morning time, and
Mhm.
best thing I could do is tell the kids, listen, whatever class has the most stats that come out, we're gonna give them a pizza party.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
So the kids was just begging their dads to come out,
Indeed.
come,
Indeed.
because I'm, you know. So, but it wasn't until we tallied everything up and the pictures were coming in, and I
Yeah.
was just like, yo, we did it. And then when they
Wow.
hit the newspaper
Yeah.
and it was these pictures, it was like, wow. Then it was like, I'm unstoppable now. I'm
That was the moment,
unstoppable.
huh? That
Yeah,
was the
like
moment. That was the
that was
moment.
the
That was the
moment.
moment. That was the
That
moment.
was the moment.
That was
But
the moment.
it wasn't, it didn't last long, Mike. It didn't,
Mm.
because I was like, all right, me doing research now, I was like, hey, we need to show our young black boys that education is important. So we're
Mm.
gonna do a read with me day.
Mm.
And so now I got all these men on a day that we went to supposed to come to one school, only two men show up.
Wow. What you
That was
think
a
happened?
problem.
What you think happened?
What I know happened,
What?
men don't like to read. Some of them couldn't read.
Wow.
Some of them didn't want to read out loud, which
Mm.
means if they didn't want to read out loud, if they didn't feel comfortable reading, they're not reading to their kids.
Yeah. That's deep,
And
bro.
and I started doing the research. I'm start going to all these different conferences and understanding some stuff. And back in 2001, 2002, 68% of black men were illiterate. 68%, Mike.
Yeah, it's sad, bro.
I don't
It's
even check
sad.
no more because I know
That's
it's
sad.
probably worse than that now.
It's
I don't
sad,
even check
man.
no more.
It's sad, man. I know brothers that were incarcerated that I'm cool with, and we talk, man, and we be having deep conversations, and they told me like it was so many times they had to read letters for brothers that was in jail.
Yep.
Like brothers really can't like read nothing, and they was like they had to actually read letters for them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Brother be like,
Mhm.
yo, man, I give you this if you read this for me, or this or that, man. That's sad, man. So did that start to like did that start the decline of the whole program?
No, that didn't start the decline of the program. It started me shifting the focus.
Mm.
It
Smart.
was it was
Smart.
shifting the focus. Like, okay, so we got to get the men comfortable with reading, but also we got to go into the schools and get the young boys understanding the importance of literacy.
Yeah, so they don't end up in the same boat. Yeah,
Right. And so that's
yeah.
when I came up with wanting to help, wanting to do more. So I
Mhm.
go back to the founder of the program, go back to the founder of the program, and tell him like, hey, we got a big problem here in Trenton. But he's from Michigan. We got a big problem here in Trenton. We need to do more. We just can't keep having these dad's night out, all these fun
Yeah,
things,
yeah.
and our kids are suffering.
Mhm.
And so I said, I'm thinking about starting a mentoring program. This would be good for your brand because it gives guys purpose. Now
Mm.
we want to get some guys with some purpose and doing some other thing. We got the ones who can't read. They're going to play basketball. They're going to do this. They're going to do that.
Mhm.
But if we're going to help our young people out, we got to show them the importance of an education.
Mhm.
He ain't really want to hear that. He didn't want
Nah,
to hear it. He,
nah.
he had his model. He had
Yeah,
his model. This
yeah.
is my model. And so Miss Lane, I know you know Miss Lane. You heard of Miss Lane before.
Mhm, mhm.
Miss Lane was the principal. Her and then my classmate Wayne Dennis. They was now principal and
I
vice
know Wayne
principal.
Dennis.
Yeah, North
I know
Trade.
Wayne. I know Wayne Dennis. Yeah, he worked at
So they
Jefferson a little bit.
Yep, yep. He was at
Yeah, I know
Jefferson,
Wayne Dennis. Yeah.
and um, they was like the school was moving up and they needed help, and he said, "Hey, you doing all these fantastic things in the school. Do you think you could help with the boys?" I'm like, "This is right up my alley. This is what I want to
Mm.
do." And said we're going to pilot a program, and the hardest thing was coming up with the name, and we came up with the name. We in the meeting. I can't forget this part. We in the meeting, and the we talking about working with the boys, and this teacher in there. She's a media person, and she's like, "Wait a minute, you can't do something for boys if you don't do something for girls."
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming.
It's like, what, ladies, mind your business. But you can't have a program for boys if you don't have a program for
Mm-hmm.
girls. All right, we work it out. So we have this program. We start this program. Boys of Distinction and Girls of Grace.
Mm-hmm.
Boys of Distinction and Girls of Grace. And the program was modeled after everything I learned.
Mm-hmm.
Everything I learned that first year I went to the state. We
Mm.
weren't just going to have an after school program. We were having after school meetings. They weren't just going to come to school on those days in school uniform, blue polo shirts like this and khaki pants. They were going to come in a white shirt with a necktie on, and they were going to have white shirt, necktie, and shoes, hard bottoms,
Mm.
right?
Dope.
Because
Dope.
we were showing them that, look, education is a business, and you're here for the business of being educated, not to learn, but this
Mm-hmm.
is a business. And so in this program, we taught them how to knot a tie. That was the biggest thing. The first
I
thing you're
saw
going to
that
learn how
joint.
to
I
knot this
saw that
tie,
joint. Yeah.
right?
I saw that joint. Yeah.
Yep, yep. So we do that, and on those days, brother, guess what wasn't happening?
What?
Wasn't no fights going on those days. You you know what they're not going to do? They're not going to
Mm-hmm.
fight in there in the quote unquote church shoes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now
That's
they
why the
feel
club. That's why they started doing that at the clubs, making you dress up like that because they know it's less chance you're gonna fight. Facts.
right.
Facts.
You're gonna be
Facts.
slipping around and everything. You're not fighting
Yeah.
in this stuff. But
Yeah.
the other thing is, it made why people get dressed up. Were getting dressed up for church. It made you feel good,
Facts. Facts.
and that was that
Facts.
thing. So now I feel good. I'm looking good, and now I'm gonna learn. And so that's what we did, brother. And we started to
I got
change
a. I
the
got a.
system.
I got a question, bro.
Uh-huh.
When you said the girls are Grace, I got a question because I had did some research and I talked to some people and stuff like that, man.
Mm-hmm.
I see your boy your program that you have, Reclaiming the Boys. I see so many people doing boy programs like this and that, saving the boys like different cities all across the country, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why is it why I don't really see a lot of women working with young girls? Like I ask so many women, like, what is it about this dynamic that it's so hard to get older women to mentor younger girls? Because I see men doing it all the time with boys. You know
Right.
what I'm
Right.
saying? But
Mm-hmm.
what's your take on that? Why is it so hard to get? I don't really see a lot of girl mentor programs.
Um, I, I don't know, Mike, but what I do find is a lot of women that want to start programs to work with boys.
No, I'm talking about with girls. I
No,
know.
but that's what I'm saying, Mike. They won't
Yeah.
even work with girls, but I found a lot of programs that were
Wow.
spearheaded by women who want to work with boys.
Wow.
Think
Wow.
about that. They
I
want to
know.
work with the boys, right? Now, if the roles were reversed and I say, hey, I'm gonna start this girls program.
No, you're gonna get in trouble. You already know how that's coming. Huh? You gonna get in trouble. They're gonna be on you. They're gonna be on you for the rip. They're gonna be on you
Right,
for the rip. No, I
right.
always wondered that, like, why, like the that dynamic, like, it's hard to
Mhm.
get women to want to mentor a group of girls. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. I don't get it. I don't
Yeah,
know. I
yeah,
do
yeah.
know if there were a few. I don't know if they stay around for the long
Mm-hmm.
haul,
Mm-hmm.
but I if I was to offer up anything, would be because I do work with girls. Girls are looking for that one thing too, bro. They looking for a father figure. They looking
Mm.
for some male guidance.
Mm.
Because if you look at a girl, they already surrounded by their mom, their grandma,
Yeah.
and this
Yeah.
other strange woman coming in. And
Yeah.
what's the missing piece?
Yeah. Facts.
Missing
Facts.
piece
Facts. Yeah.
is the
Facts. That
father.
makes sense. That makes
So
sense. That makes sense.
so that's one of the things they may not want to hear from another woman after I got to hear from
Okay.
aunties,
Yeah,
grandma,
yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. That makes
you
sense. That
know.
makes sense.
And so I work with Councilwoman Crystal Feliciano, and
Yeah.
she does this piece, this girls piece
Okay.
at the high school every year. And she came to me and she said, "Bruce, I need you to do some shirts." So I do the apparel. I need you to do some shirts. I said, what you got going on?" She was like, "Oh, I got this girls conference going on, and it's dynamic. I got this girl coming in. She gonna do this. I got this person, and Chris will be having that stuff down too, boy." And I looked at it, I was like, who you got coming in and talk to the girls about relationships?
Mm.
And she was like, "Nobody." I said, "You have this whole conference for girls, and the one missing component is how do you deal with a relationship with a boy?"
Facts. I talk to my kids about that all the time. Any chance I get, bro. Like I talk to them. I work with
Right?
kids now. I talk to them. I work at New Hope in the adolescent unit. So I talk to
Mm-hmm.
kids about that like all the time. That's so important, man. And I need to
Right.
get in touch with Crystal so I could bring my girls to that thing that she have going on. They need something
Yeah.
like that now. They need
Yeah,
something like
man. And so I've been doing it now for the last 2 or 3 years that I've been working with her, because I bring that piece to them that
that.
these
That's
girls
dope.
are dying to
That's
hear.
dope.
And I tell them, I say, I'm a reform womanizer. So I'm
Me
gonna give
too.
you the game. I'm gonna give you the game that most boys don't want you to know.
Me too. I'm
And
a
so,
reform womanizer too. So.
that's what it is. And I give them the game, man. I'll tell them, like, and it always starts with love doesn't hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Love does not hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And
So when did you? Oh, go ahead. Go
go
ahead.
ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
When did you take all of this and start to form the Boyd Foundation?
So crazy enough, the Boyd Foundation was founded with Boys of Distinction and Girls of Grace. The
Okay.
reason why I couldn't call it Boyd, because I was first starting out, and someone told me, "You don't name nothing after yourself. You don't name it after yourself. You don't name a program after yourself."
Why?
And so, um, because your name is all you have, and if you don't have a great name, then people don't buy in. But if you think about the Boyd program, here's the acronyms: Building Our Youth Development.
Mm-hmm.
Still Boyd.
But every name had to start out somewhere before it got great.
Well, that's how we started out with. Right,
You get
right,
what I'm saying?
right.
Like, so they
Yeah,
logic don't make sense. Every name had to start out before it got great. You know what I'm saying? It had to
right.
start out somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
So what was going on? That was always the name was always going to be Building Our Youth Development,
That's
Boyd,
dope. That's dope. That's
right?
dope.
But when we first started, it was Boys of Distinction. We formulated our nonprofit LLC, Boys of Distinction and Girls of Grace.
Mm-hmm.
Man, people was messing that thing up. It was just too
Yeah.
long. Boys,
Yeah.
they was like men of this,
Yeah.
So then it just then like year 2, it was like, nah, we done with this. We doing business as Boyd, Building Our Youth Development.
Now, you're making these moves. I'm born and raised in Trenton. I had my basketball company. I made a lot of moves and stuff like that. So I see the success you having, but everybody in Trenton wasn't happy about what you had going on, bro. I can't believe that everybody was happy, bro. So give me some of the challenges, bro. I know you, because people don't really like people that really want to help.
No, ain't that crazy? That's the
They don't
craziest
like people that
thing.
really want to help. All right?
They don't
They only
like
like people that show up for the photo ops. They don't like people that really want to help. So take me to some of the challenges you had to go through, bro.
so some of the challenges was there was a guidance counselor at PJ Hill didn't care, and I won't mention the name, but just didn't care that here it was this dude. I I don't even consider myself a college dropout. I just say because you don't drop out of college, you just don't go back.
Mm.
And I didn't go back because I had a child that I was raising.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
People don't understand that piece. Like I had a house, a child that I was raising.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And look, I was working 2 jobs, sometimes 3 jobs just to maintain because I ain't
mm-hmm,
had no child support, right? So all of these things were taking place. And he was like, this guy don't even have no college degree. How he gonna be mentoring? But I always said I had a PhD. I had a PhD in ghettoology. I
mm-hmm,
grew up with this
mm-hmm,
stuff. I mastered this stuff. I got a master's degree in how to survive the hood.
mm-hmm,
So, and I can show some people because here I am working now. I ended up going back after like 6 months. I ended up getting back into the state, and that's how
mm-hmm.
I retired from the state 30 something
That's
years
dope.
later. But
That's dope.
I so he said this program ain't gonna last a year. Then he said, oh, this program ain't gonna last 2 years.
Mm,
And then I was still going and he was out.
always
So
happen like that. It
so
always happen like that.
so then it was some people that, so it caught fire. So, the biggest thing how it caught fire was my crazy mindset because I'm looking at all this stuff, Mike, and we were dealing with fifth graders. And at that point, the school district was ninth, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade at the high school,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
right? So I'm privy to a lot of information, and I use that information to help our young people. When people sit around a table and talk about it, I was putting it to action. Ninth
mm-hmm.
grade, they was having this ninth grade when kids went to the ninth grade after leaving eighth grade. 50% of the kids were repeating ninth grade. 50% of the
Wow.
kids was repeating ninth grade back in 2004, 2005. So you got to think about that. And I was like, yo, some of these kids ain't even going to see a prom. Some of these kids aren't even going to make it out of the
Mm-hmm.
high school. So I said to my team, I said, we're going to put on a mentors ball, like the gentleman's ball. That was big, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Gentleman's
yeah,
ball, the debutantes.
yeah.
We're going to
Right.
let the fifth graders experience something and show them so that when they get to the high school, they have these things to look for.
Mm,
People thought we was crazy. How you gonna
mm,
put fifth graders in tuxedos,
mm.
girls in gowns? Girls don't sixth grade, but if you could put that picture back up,
Yeah,
that
got you,
was the
bro.
innocence of it all. The
Yeah,
innocence of it all was the girls, the boys, they that's what it was, bro. It was
yeah.
that
I had the
crazy,
one that had all of them together, the boys and the girls, but I separated it to make the boys joint because you
right?
had one with the girls, but I should have put the one with all of them. I know what you're talking about. That one was fire.
Right.
That was fire. Like that was fire.
So
That was fire.
you see those boys and then you're looking like, yo, look at their faces. And it was a
That's
new
dope.
experience for them because now they had something to look forward to. And it was the culminating event of a year-long program. Bro, we bought a school bank. We had a banking program at PJ Hill.
Mm.
So the kids would go to the bank, bro. They would make deposits.
That's
The bank,
dope.
the bank manager would come to the school and take a set deposits, man.
That's
So we
dope,
was in
bro.
fifth grade. Again, everything I didn't get from school, I had to give it to them so that they won't feel lost. Because if we keep saying that they're lost, what part do we play in losing them?
Mm.
So we had a
Mm.
bank at the school. They were dressing up. We had etiquette classes, and the culminating event would be this black tie affair where they could put all of the things that they learned to use.
Mm.
And
That's
that
dope.
was the magic of that program. And
That's dope.
other schools saw it. They saw it for the pictures of getting that, but it was so much more. We took them on. We were taking kids to job shadows at Best Buy, at AT&T, and Rumson, at Microsoft.
Dope. That's dope.
White collar jobs,
That's dope, man.
white collar careers, because this is what we're saying. This is what your life can be. You don't have to be at the bar.
Mm. Yeah, that's pretty much how it be, man. Pretty much. How did you get into the what's the name, bro? Because I seen this, I was like, I definitely gotta ask about that. Like, how did you get into the boat rowing, bro?
All right.
like no, because I seen all these pictures. I'm like, yo, this dude really into rowing boats. Like, no, and I did that a
Oh,
couple times. They used to have them joints at Calvert Park and different places we'll go on
they ain't had
vacation.
those joints.
And
They had the kayaks.
yeah, kayaks. Yeah, yeah. You got the heavy duty joint that you got being kind of in shape for. How did you get into that, bro? Like for real, for
So,
real.
so I like that one, man, because you got my son in that. Well, my
Oh,
son is
that's
in that
dope.
picture.
That's
Yeah,
dope. That's dope.
he's in that picture. Um, so during COVID,
Mm-hmm.
we sitting in the house, everybody locked down, and Peacock was just blooming at that point, bro. And they
Mm-hmm.
had these back-to-back documentaries. One was called Black Boys,
Mm-hmm.
and then after Black Boys, uh, a documentary came on, A Most Beautiful Thing. And the most beautiful thing was about these 8 guys out of Chicago. Was the first all black crew team, high school crew team out of the south side of Chicago.
Mm.
So I'm sitting home and I'm watching this, and none of my programs have ever dealt with sports, because I left sports up to you, Mike. I left sports up to them,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because I
yeah. That's
said
dope.
my
Yeah,
thing was the neck up. If I get if
yeah,
let them do that, I'm gonna go from the neck up. So we
yeah.
did debate,
That's
we
smart.
did chess. You saw that. We
Mm-hmm.
did debate, we did chess, we did drama, we did science, we did robotics, everything from the neck up. We were competing that way. We
Mm-hmm.
let everybody
Mm-hmm.
else, because not everybody was gonna play sports.
Facts.
But then this thing shows up, and I looked at it and I cried afterwards because it was very touching. And I said, man, I don't know what it was, Mike. I said, I want our kids to experience rowing.
Wow. Wow. How did you sell it to them? How did you sell it to the parents? Like, how did you sell it to you? No, how you did that? Like, you came in one day, y'all having y'all meeting, and you like, yo, we about to go roll some boats. They're like, what?
Nah, hey, it just happened. So the guy, his name is Arshay Cooper. So
Mm-hmm.
Arshay, he was the guy that was doing it. So I actually I was on Facebook. I inboxed him like, yo, I just saw this documentary. I'm a youth development specialist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm right here in Trenton. We got some of the same demographics that you guys had in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
How do I get started? Me and my partner, we want to ride. We want to fly out to Chicago and meet you. And bro, he hit me right back. He was like, "You don't gotta
Wow.
go to Chicago. I'm in New York. I live in New York.
Wow.
Let's connect." So we talked, and he was like, "Yo, I'm gonna be in Princeton at their boat house. Won't you come through?" So I
Perfect.
came to Princeton at their boat house. I met the head coach of the Princeton row team, and we talked. And after that, I talked to. I know you know Kiyoki.
Yeah, that's my homegirl. Yeah,
Right,
100%.
right.
Yeah, I
So
used to go to
so
her school and speak and bring my kids down there to speak at her school. Yeah, super
so
cool. That's fam. That's
that's
fam.
that's that's my girl. And
Uh
so I had some administrators that I knew, and I was like, listen, this thing called rowing is going to take off.
That's
I
dope.
need you to come, and I need you to get some kids to come out. We're going to do this open house. We're going to open up Princeton University. And just when you hear we're going to do something at Princeton University, everybody's like, oh,
Yeah, yeah.
from
We're gonna
Trenton.
jump to that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're going to jump on that.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So I didn't know what to expect. I was just hammered on Facebook, open house, rowing, blase blah, blase blah, open house. Bro, we had almost 60 something people show up.
Wow.
So it
Wow.
wasn't like an arm twisting type of thing. It was just, hey, and the reputation of Bruce Boyd. It was like, hey, Bruce Boyd don't do no trash, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. You definitely do quality stuff, bro.
So those people showed up, and we got kids from Pace. So we first started with the charter schools. So it
Mm-hmm.
was Village, Foundation, and Pace. Um, the one that stayed was Village. Foundation fell off, Pace fell off, and so we had Village, and we had to find a way. And then I just went to my administrators in the district that I have friends that are friends and say, hey, we got a program, and let me tell you about this program, and you should get on board. And they got on board.
So y'all have I saw a thing where you have the different schools competing.
Yeah. So they get on board, and we start. So the first year in, we had I really didn't do much, but I would say year and a half in, we got Village, we got Christina Sykes, we had Parker,
Mm-hmm.
we had Jefferson. So we had
Mm-hmm.
4 schools the first year that we really did this thing. And they learn on the rowing machines first, and then we
Mm-hmm.
take them out to the lake, and then
Mm.
they learn from there. So it's a progression into it.
Mm-hmm.
So they learn on the machines,
So
they go out to the lake, and then then they learn on a training boat, and then they go into the skinny boats,
that's dope.
and
That's dope.
so that's how it started. And so as I start learning about the sport, I said I want to turn this thing out, and we did an indoor regatta. But it
Mm.
couldn't just be. I saw what they did, and it was boring.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Nobody would love that sport. Nobody would be excited about it if I
You had to
brought
jazz
that.
it up.
I had to put the sauce, I had to put the
Yeah,
sauce to it.
I know it. You
I
know
had
it.
to
I
put
know
the
what you
sauce
said.
to it.
I know what you said. I know what you said.
So
I
I
know
put
what
the
you said.
sauce to it. I told them, and I just like I did with my team when we said we were going to put kids in tuxedos in 5th grade. I did with this team. I said, listen, we need a DJ, we
Yep.
need a host. We're
That's
going to have
dope.
that music pumping. We're going to have a host that's going to be funny and can go, and we're going to have a tunnel. We're going to call everybody out just like they do the football games and
That's
everything else.
smart, bro. Smart.
Bro,
Smart.
and every one of those teams, they had this song. So I had DJ Big J and
That's
Kevin,
dope.
you know, my
That's
man
dope,
Kevin,
man.
DK,
Okay. Okay. That's
bruh,
dope.
and he's funny. He's a comedian
Yeah,
and
I know
he's
you're
a
talking
great
about.
talent. Listen, we turned that sucker out. We had the
Wow.
Olympic team there. The women's Olympic team was there because they roll right out of Mercer. So
Mm-hmm.
they were about to go to the Olympics, and one of the coaches is my good friend Lori. She's a coach at Princeton. She said I could get some of the Olympic girls to come down for this.
That's dope.
So you got the highest of the echelon of
Yeah.
rowing coming into Trenton, bro. That's like it's the equivalent of having 8 NBA players, eight NFL players coming down to see these beginners.
That's dope, man. I saw the thing and I was like, I gotta just get the backstory on how you got into this.
Yep.
Another one of your programs I was familiar with was the Reclaiming Our Boys.
Reclaiming Our Boys.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
I was there with I came to Prospect Village one time.
When we first started, 2017, 2018. Yep.
That's when I got picture Charlie in this picture. Rest in peace, man. He in there. I
Yeah.
got the one from there when y'all got started, and all the way to when you just had the young fellas at the car place.
Right.
When you came into this, what made you want to attack from this angle, like reclaiming the boys?
Heartfelt story. Everything starts with a story, my man.
Mm-hmm.
One of the boys that was in our summer program, because we had a Boyd enrichment program. One of the boys that traveled with us from Trenton all the way down to Selma, he walked over the Edmonds Pettus Bridge with us. Um, he was gunned down in North Trenton. He was gunned down in North Trenton. And I'm like, this boy, he would take care of our son. He loved our little son. They on the bus. Oh man, he was a good kid. We was trying to work with him, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We tried, we tried, and he
Mm-hmm.
was gunned down. And I got a phone call, and I was like, nah, man, I'm done. I can't do this no more. Because what people don't understand is when you go and enter a child's life, you're in it for the long haul. That child
Facts.
becomes your child. You
Facts.
know,
Facts. Facts.
you
Facts.
pour into that child. You just don't claim them on your taxes,
Yeah, facts. I know. I did it with a million of them, bro. So
right?
I know. I know what you're
Right.
saying. I know
And
what you're saying.
so I was like, nah, and everybody was like, nah, but now's the time. This is when we need you. And
Mm.
I'm like, it was a hard thing. And so I just called a couple of my good brothers and I said, hey, we got to reclaim our boys. We just got to
Still.
reclaim them. We can't sit on the sidelines. By that point, the DAS program was done because it was funded through the school district, but that program has long gone.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it wasn't no real programs, and it's still not any real programs out there that deals with just boys and deals with things
Mm-hmm.
like what we're doing. And
Mm.
so um we took you was there. We took men. We had men from all walks of life come to Prospect Village, and
Mm-hmm.
we trained them for people thought I was crazy, but we trained them for 7 months because
Mm.
I'm someone like this. If I'm going to put my name on a line, you got to be right. You
Mm-hmm.
got to be
Mm-hmm.
right.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole thing was 1 hour a week for 1 year. If we can make it 1 hour a week for 1 year, and then we'll see what happens after that. And so we trained for 7 months. We launched, and we had over 40, 50 men involved.
Mm-hmm.
And when we launched, we had 40, 50 boys involved. And
I remember that. I remember that.
the only thing that stopped us was COVID.
I remember that. I remember
So,
that. I remember that.
so we
I
went
remember
from 2017 to March 2020.
that. Mm-hmm.
And,
Mm-hmm.
and then, we shut down, and we tried to bring it back. People lives had changed by that point,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and we didn't have a home no more. We couldn't use Prospect Village anymore. So then we tried to bring in, so it fizzled out. The place that we were using, it wasn't conducive to what we were doing because they had other things going on. So it fizzled out.
But
And
that's my. But that's the point that I was saying about with your history of doing what you're doing.
mhm,
You didn't shown the ability to make change, shown the ability to help kids, help change their lives. How is it hard for you to find somewhere to have a program? Well, all of these schools, all of these buildings, all of this stuff. Nah, because I went through it with basketball. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, how is it hard for you? Why are you talking about this place wasn't conducive? Like, they supposed to be calling you. Like, yo, do you want to have it over here? We got this going on. We got that. We got this. No, I'm serious. Like, why was it hard for you to find a place to help kids?
hey, hey, that's the city.
That's
That
crazy,
that's
man.
that not they keep saying there's money in failure, but I don't do things for
Mm,
money, right?
mm,
I don't do things for money. And um there are people that look at me, and I'm glad we're doing this because now they can hear it from me. Like I don't do it for the money.
mm-hmm,
I always said that. when I first started, I said, this is the only career that I want to work myself out of a job. Because if I could work at myself out of a job, that means all the kids are straight.
That's dope, bro.
But guess what? I
Mm.
said, I know I'm always going to have a job because there's always going to be somebody that don't understand and don't get it. And that's the
Mm-hmm.
sad part. So with all of this, what I found is there's this thing in the city of Trenton where people can see you. They see you, but they're waiting for you to come to them for the help. You got me? I know.
Kinda,
I see what you're doing, Mike.
kinda.
You're
You
doing,
know what
you're
though?
doing
You
a
know what
damn good
though?
job.
You know
But
what though? You know what though? The reason why I gotta kind of disagree is because not disagree with from your perspective what you had going on. From my perspective is I filled out. See, I filled out paperwork with 4 different um recreation department heads. And I was smart. I came from college. I knew what they was gonna ask for. I had proposals because
mhm,
they try to
mhm,
max you out.
mhm,
Well, you need a proposal because they think you ain't gonna have one. So I
yep.
did all of that, all of that. You get
Yep.
what I'm saying? I didn't turn it in with all of that. You know what I'm saying? So then, um, it was always some kind of excuse. And this is the crazy part, right? I'm having tournaments in all other places on the East Coast. The mayor from Atlantic City comes to me and was like, yo, you can have all our gyms anytime you want. You know what I'm saying? Like you got the whole Atlantic City anytime you want. Neptune, Maryland, different places I'm having these tournaments. You know what I'm saying? But they gave me the crazy runaround. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I was saying when you use somebody that really, really care, it's hard, bro.
It is,
It's
and
hard.
I'm still waiting on a phone call from the recreation department
That's
now.
what I
I'm still
understand.
waiting on
I
that
know
phone.
all of the people that was the heads. Such and such. I filled out one for her, filled out one for him. They all give me the same song and dance. You know what I'm saying?
Right, they do, and part of it, I feel like it. Like I said, you it if you're not in their clique, so to speak,
Facts. 100%.
right,
You got
right.
it. You hit it right on the head with
Yo,
that.
so
You hit it right on the head with that.
there was a time where they took me out of the school district because they had this thing called New Jersey After Three.
Mm-hmm.
New Jersey After Three came in. It was funded by the state, but they didn't have a great way of doing it, bro. And it collapsed. So now it fell on the city to do something with the after school program. Someone gave me a proposal, right? Listen to me. Someone gave me a proposal and said, Bruce, this fits you. Just change it. Because with this proposal, you ready for this, Mike? We won an RFP for over $500,000.
Mm.
Just just look at this proposal, put your name and put all the stuff, filling in just what you're doing. Send it over to the city, and a recreation guy said that proposal was uh lackluster. So this proposal won 500,000, over 100, over $500,000 with the feds, and the city of Trenton called the proposal lackluster.
That's
So it
sad,
wasn't about
bro.
the proposal, it was about the
Mm.
person. And
Mm.
that person just happened to be me, who
Facts.
was doing things that the person that was in charge of rec couldn't do.
And you didn't have to go through them to get it done. That's where the issue coming at.
That's it.
I got a question about the kids before we get into the city. With the influx of drill music and the influx of these female rappers and social media influence and things of that, when you working with these kids, how do you caution them about that, or how do you rear them back of that, especially with the vapes and the carts and all of this stuff going on? What do you guys try to do to combat that kind of influence?
So there's this belief that if you, if you show it to them, if you expose it to them and show them what's wrong about it, they'll get it, right? That was like during that time, like Nancy Reagan, "This is your brain," and that
Yeah,
commercial
yeah,
come
fry
on.
on drugs. Yeah,
This
yeah,
is your brain. This is your brain.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So I just created different curriculums. So we have a curriculum, A Voyage Through India,
Mm,
and the Voyage Through India is India Ari music. And if you ever just sit back and listen to India Ari music, I see the God in you. And
mm,
um, oh gosh, she has so many great hits. But we created a curriculum where kids will listen to good music,
mm-hmm,
and they'll ask the question, well, why isn't this being played? Because part of understanding India Ari, then we jump into Erica Badu, Bag Lady.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Girl, why you gonna hurt your back? You carrying all this baggage.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So we start, so through this music therapy, you feed kids with the good music.
Mm,
So you don't have to talk about what they're listening to. You just change what they want to listen to.
that's dope.
Because we grew up, we had some great music,
Yeah,
and why
yeah.
did our music change? Our music changed because when we were listening to Rakim, and when we was listening to BDP, and when we were listening to Young, Gifted, and Black, guess what? We had some pride in ourselves.
Facts,
But you go
facts.
from Young, Gifted, and Black to what was Waka Flocka? What was that one he had? Something something to high. Oh, I can't even remember it now. But Wild and Crazy and something. So when the language changed and the messages, so
Mm-hmm.
music, all this drill is just messages,
I know,
right?
I know,
So
man.
you just gotta let young people understand the real messages in the music. So you
Facts.
expose them to, I just had this conversation earlier today because they were trying to blame these artists. I said, no, it's not the artists. The artists are us. They just got their meal ticket through
Mm,
selling this stuff. I said, but how does this stuff get in the airways?
mm-hmm.
The guy who holds the purse strings, and he don't look
Facts.
like us.
At all, at
Right.
all.
So
No.
they pitched their music, and Kanye West and Jay-Z said it and I think it was ends in Paris, where he say where that is the cut is it gotta be provocative.
Mm-hmm.
It's this piece in one of them songs. He says, we gotta give it to the people to make them, Nah, all that provocative stuff goes into our kids' head. But when you flip it, there's the girl that gosh, what's her name? Megan Trainer or something. She says, I gave them bass. Your lips are moving, but you lie. And it's the metaphors, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
understand what bass is when she says it. She was talking about I'm giving them some butt.
Mm,
But it's the metaphor of the bass, and when you hear bass, you think of music, right?
mm-hmm.
So it's clean. But
Mm,
on this genre of music, nah, you gonna get everything filth.
mm.
They don't even want to paint the picture. They just gonna give you the full unadulterated picture. And
Indeed,
that's what our
indeed.
kids are looking at, and that's why they dress like that. That's why they do those things, because that's the message. And if I
The
give you that
yeah,
message, Mike, guess what? I don't have to worry about you competing with my kids at all. You
facts,
can't
facts,
compete.
facts. The thing about it is though, like you said, once you switch it, like when my kids in my job, they come in my class, we listen to my favorite artist is Eshawn Burgundy, Israelite rapper.
Mhm.
And his metaphors is dope and his flow is dope and everything. Now when they get in the vans with me, that's what they want to listen to. They want to listen to that. I start teaching them about R&B, like the R&B love songs. They don't have none of that. You get
Nope.
what I'm saying? So now they like when they come around me, they want to listen to that kind of music. They like, yo, this is dope. Like I'm like, yeah, this is how life's supposed to be. You're not supposed to want to drive around and shoot up the block. And
Right,
no,
right.
no, you're not supposed to want to do that. You know what I'm saying? So no, I just wanted to know your take on that kind of influence.
Yeah.
Now, go ahead. Go ahead.
So yeah, so I'm just thinking about that Lupe Fiasco, and I used to
Mm-hmm.
use that song when he said last name never, first name fell, something like that. So it's never fell.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Imagine somebody telling you your name is never fell.
Mm.
You're gonna work hard.
Facts. 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 Whole different
But see,
perspective.
that doesn't get played on mainstream in
At all.
mainstream genre, right?
At all.
That
At
that
all.
stuff doesn't get played. So Lupe was one of those cats that I used to program use and program a lot.
That's dope. That's dope. Now let's talk about your book, man. What inspired you to do it? Like what did it entail? Is it on Amazon or something where people could buy that?
Nah, it's self-published.
Okay, okay,
Amazon. I didn't want Amazon to own that book. You know, and
okay.
people when that's part of what happens when people send their books to Amazon. You don't own your book. Amazon owns it.
Mm,
So it's self-published.
mm,
Um, Part of this book came about because I used to do a one-man play. It's called the one-man play is called Evolution,
mm-hmm,
and Evolution is I wanted to do something non-traditional. When I go into a school, like if I go into a school and I'm already, you see me now, right? You see all the pictures I'll be posting. You see me in a suit and a bow tie and everything else, right?
mm-hmm,
People don't understand that first picture that I grew up
mm,
behind the walls, right? So they don't see, anybody who comes in and speaks, they always speak from a point of where they are, right?
mm-hmm,
So I needed to paint the picture. So, bro, I came up with the one man play. When I go into a school, I would dress. I would dress sagging pants, Tim's, a hoodie, do rag, and everything else.
wow, wow,
And so when they introduced me, they're like, "Yeah, we got this dynamic person coming in to speak," and the kids had walked past me.
wow,
They didn't even see me. They walked
wow.
past me, bro. And then when they see me coming in, they're like,
Oh,
"What
that's
is he
him.
going to talk about?"
Wow.
And so as I start telling my story, the audience helps me undress right in front
Mm,
of
mm,
them. And I have my jacket to the side, and then someone puts my jacket on. And now that you saw from where I came from, as this conversation has evolved from, you see it in real time.
the visual part.
Yes,
Yeah, the visual
see it
part.
in
That's
real time.
important.
You see
Where
when
did
I
you get
work
that
at
concept from? That's pretty
so
dope. That's pretty dope.
I
That's
come
pretty
up with
dope.
this stuff, bro. I go to sleep early.
Yeah.
I wake up. I'm energized, and so part of it was I would say was 12th, 11th grade year, Trent High. A guy came into the class. No, it's 12th grade year.
Mm-hmm.
It's 12th grade year. This guy came in for career day, and he was standing up in his suit, and he had us look out on Chambers Street, look out the window. It was this shiny black BMW out there. He said, "You see that BMW? That's mine." And basically, he was saying, if you don't go to college, you'll never be able to afford one of those.
Mm,
And he said, and his whole thing was surrounding college and
mm,
education and money. And I don't live in Trenton no more. I live out here. So he was talking about he came from an inner city, right?
mm-hmm.
But he turned me off because here I was just told by my mom that I wasn't going to be able to go to college.
Wow.
So now this cat is telling me I ain't going to be able to afford no car. I'm always going to be in the hood. All of these things.
Mm,
And so that stuck with me. Like,
Use it as
I don't
fire.
think right. And
Use it.
so
That's how I am. I use stuff as fire, bro. For real.
right.
Bro, I use
And
stuff as
so
fire.
that was the piece that I realized that nah, I don't think everybody ain't qualified to speak to kids because
Mm,
he could have really snatched my whole life from me in those words because I wasn't going to college.
mm.
Right.
All right, we're coming towards the end.
All right.
Next up, who should be the mayor of Trenton and why?
Whoa.
Who should be the mayor of Trenton and why, bro?
Uh, who you got there? I
Oh,
can't even see.
I just took one of these things off. I guess it's the hold on. Let me try to look it up.
Okay. I got you. I got you.
Oh, I got
Who should be the mayor of Trenton and why?
yeah.
That's a hard one, man, because it's 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 the way I would say this is I've been around this country,
Mm-hmm.
and if people don't travel to other places, right? If no one travels up to Newark,
Mm-hmm.
if no one travels down to Baltimore and check out that
Mm-hmm.
young mayor down there, if you don't travel out to so here's the other piece. If you don't travel out to, because Trenton is such a historic place, it has so much value. So if you don't travel out to Lancaster, if you don't travel out to York, if you don't travel out to um did I say Newark already?
Yeah, yeah.
Newark, Lancaster, York, Baltimore. If you don't travel out to Atlantic City, if you don't travel out to, but leaving the state and going to some other inner cities and see how those inner cities are turned around,
Mm-hmm.
then you're going to do Trenton an injustice.
Mm.
It's one of those things where I would say that um, everything looks good when you're here, right? Because you haven't been exposed to nothing but here.
Fact. Same
But
thing with
when you
basketball.
expose,
Yeah,
right? But right, when
yeah,
you take
yeah,
those boys, I don't know if you do girls too, but if you
yeah.
take the boys and the girls, whenever you take them somewhere else, they be looking around like, yo, that's going to be your next mayor. Somebody
Mm-hmm.
who went out, saw something,
Mm.
and said, I want to bring that back to my hometown because that's what's
Mm-hmm.
needed. But
Mm.
you can't do it from just looking on the phone. You can't do it from just looking at it on the news. You can't do it by just looking at it or scrolling. No, you got to go there. You got to sit down with some of these other mayors and say, how did you turn your town around? And you can't do it by just saying, well, I know what it needs. No, you have
Mm-hmm.
to go some other places and see some
You
things
gotta
and
get
say
exposure.
exposure.
You gotta get
And
exposure.
so
Yeah.
I don't know which one of those candidates been exposed. I
Mm.
mean, I
That's
mean,
deep. That's deep.
right? Come
That's
on.
deep.
So you
That's
just go
deep.
over the history of mayors.
Mm.
You, tr- listen, Mike. I mean, and maybe that's why. Because when I start talking truth, people don't like to hear the truth.
That's real. What you saying is real. What you saying is real.
So when when was there a decline in Trenton? When did that decline happen?
Probably after Palmer.
After?
Was it with him? See, I'm too young to know about Armenti. I was too young to really experience him, like his power in mayor and stuff like that. And I'm kind of biased too, which is why I'm not in the like as an Israelite, we don't vote, and I don't really get into like
Mhm.
the politic thing. You know what I'm saying? We believe that the Most High said that if we turn to Him and away from sin, that's when He'll heal the land where we at. You know what I'm saying? So we don't really get
Right,
it because we believe that whoever you vote in office, whatever they do, you held accountable for those actions too because you co-signed it. You know what I mean? But
right,
growing up, Mr. Paul Pantella was my godfather, so Mike was like my brother. So
Mhm.
I grew up in that. I grew up with the machine. You get what I'm
Right,
saying? So I know I've been there. I was in the rooms. I was in the headquarters. All of the elections. I seen the back door. I know all of that, and that's
right,
not something that I would want to be a part of.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Because
So,
I go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
so just think about it. When was the decline of downtown Trenton?
Yeah, yeah. I could understand what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Now, who's revitalizing? We don't even hear that word revitalizing.
mm, that's deep.
You
That's
know,
deep.
we used to ride up the north. We used to catch train up the north to go get our bombers and stuff, right? You
Yeah,
go up there
yeah,
to get
yeah,
the real bombers and stuff, right?
yeah.
And it was the decline. But now you can go up to north and you see the arts flourishing. You see
Yeah,
NJ Pack is there.
yeah.
You see Chipotle. You see Anchor stores in their downtown, Anchor restaurants, and their
Mm-hmm.
downtown isn't closing at 5 o'clock.
Mm. It's deep.
What we got? And
It's deep.
how many years have that downtown area been in decline? And
Mm.
I and so I always say it like this, Mike. People always, when I get in that seat, or when you vote for me, well, what have you done before you got in that seat?
Mm.
What's the record? What have you done to qualify you for the seat? What
Mm.
have you done to change the quality of life for young people or for
Mm.
all people? See,
Mm.
I have done that over my 24 years, and I've done it without a title of anything, because I don't want that title. I don't need a title. I
Mm-hmm.
just want to
Mm-hmm.
do the work.
Mm.
So don't sit up here and say, when I get in, this is what. No, change happens now. Change
Fact.
doesn't happen when you get in that seat. Change happens before the seat.
Mm. Mm. You ever thought about jumping in?
No, I don't live in Trenton.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Now
I,
I'm just looking at it like just, but you hit everything on a nutshell that I wanted to touch on when it came to that, man.
yeah.
I got I got just two more questions and we
Okay.
done.
All
What
right.
does this give me the thoughts on that? Give me the
Woo.
thoughts on that, man. What comes to your mind when you see that picture, man?
Hey, this day. I was down in this. This is in Pemberton.
Wow.
This was in Pemberton, and
Wow.
I didn't know. I worked down in Pemberton for 10 years, brother. And that's when I learned of city poor and rural poor.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I thought city poor was poor poor, not until
Yeah.
you go down to a rural area.
Facts. Facts.
And then that really humbles you.
Yeah. Facts.
And I was that black guy that came down and I do just that, because they needed
Mm.
love, they needed hugs, they needed guidance. I taught those
Mm.
boys. And this one day, I brought a guest down there. The boy walked up to me and said, "Mr. Boy, I just had a bad day. I just need a hug." And
Mm.
this was I waited all day for you to come so I could get a hug, because that hug was reassurance.
Dang,
And
brother,
so
that's
that's when
deep.
I came up with the thing: high fives and hugs, high fives and
Yeah.
hugs. And so I just yesterday gave these boys some hugs, right?
Mm.
And the thing is, I want them to understand that, whatever they were drilled into, that boys, you you know, you can't be, you soft if you hug, you soft if, no, you're not soft, you're human. And
Mm.
so many times as these adults, we dehumanize our sons, our boys, and then we wonder why they kill somebody else.
Mm. That's deep. That's deep.
So
That's
enough
deep.
pressure is going to that pipe is going to burst. So
Mm.
we got to let them cry. We got to let them have emotion. We got to let them feel, and then
Mm.
we got to love on them.
Mm.
And so that picture right there is one of those pictures that, like I said, I can remember that day. I can
I
remember,
saw this.
boy, I
So
need a
when
hug.
I saw the emotion in it. Like I saw the emotion in it, man. I saw the
Yeah,
emotion in it,
and
man.
it happens all over, man. Mike, you'd be surprised. I'm in these schools. You'd be surprised how many boys just need a hug
Facts,
from a
100%,
man, from a man,
100%,
somebody that's going to
100%,
say, look at them in the face and say, "You're going to be all right. You're going to make it."
100%. And I think like one of the biggest problems that I see, especially like when I go to like I go to different schools and if and that, and I see people communicating with the especially middle school, even high school kids. Like one of the biggest problems that people having is that they don't know how to communicate with those kids because they think that they don't understand rule number one is you can't loudly reprimand a kid in front of his peers.
Nope.
That's never gonna work. You get what I'm saying? So
Yep,
I
I
be going
know.
to these schools and I see these teachers yelling and doing this, and they like, I can't get them to stop. Blah, blah, blah. When I have a problem with one of my kids, man, I take them to my room,
Let's
one
take a
on
walk.
one. Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
take a walk.
yeah, yeah,
Let-
yeah. Then me and him have a dialogue. We have a conversation, and then I let him know, like, yo, but before we even do that, I gotta build rapport.
Yep.
I gotta ask you how your day going. I gotta ask you
Yep.
how was your morning. I gotta ask you how your weekend. I'm gonna get to know you before we even ever take a walk. I'm gonna get to know you first. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get to know you
Yep.
because kids don't care what you know until they know you care.
Yep.
You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And yeah, now if I need to grill you because you wilding, now when I take you to my room, I could grill you one on one. You're gonna accept that better.
Mm-hmm.
Now the next time I just look at you and I tell you chill. And we didn't already had to talk, so you understand that. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
They think yelling at them and doing this. Nah, that's not gonna work, man. It's not
Nope.
gonna work with the kids, man. It's
Nope.
not. It's not,
It's
man.
respect. It's
A
just
hundred
respect.
percent. 100%.
And you're
100%.
right. So many times I can see a kid just in that mood, and I'm like, "Hey, how are you?"
Mm-hmm.
See, I never asked them what's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
See, when you ask a kid what's wrong, they automatically think, ain't nothing wrong with me.
Yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah,
absolutely right. There's nothing
yeah,
wrong with you. So
yeah.
let me pull this back, and I
Mm-hmm.
always say, "Well, how are you?" Now you got to answer that differently because I'm not accusing you of being wrong.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so when you open up that dialogue that way, it changes. And hey, man, I care about you. And
Mm-hmm.
every time, man, I said, listen, I don't know if anybody ever told you, but I love you
Facts. That's dope.
because you
Dope.
matter.
That's
That
dope.
those are the things. I love you because you matter.
That's
So
dope.
don't
That's
ever.
dope.
I don't want them to say, man, it don't matter. No, you do matter, and
That's dope.
everything you do matters.
That's
So
dope.
that's those secret sauce things that I do, and I garner so much respect from young people because of that. Because I care, and I don't have to care. I care.
Facts. Last question in closing. What role do your family play into this, man? Like your wife, yeah, because I was searching for pictures and stuff. I said he's kind of private with the family thing. I see, like, what role? Nah, that's smart though, because nobody know. If you don't know my wife, you
Right,
don't know how my wife look. You know what I'm saying? Nobody don't
right,
know. They
right.
don't. They don't. I learned from past relationships. My stuff private. You know what I'm saying? Like, and my wife like it. She don't even got social media. She don't like social media, and I love that.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So
right.
but you're a very busy dude. You got a lot of goals. You accomplishing a lot. How does that dynamic and how do you work out the schedule and the time for your family, like, and keep all that together?
Oh man, this is a balancing thing. Like, so my wife's a
Okay.
teacher. She teaches at
Wow.
the high
Okay.
school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's dope. That's
So
dope.
you know, she pops out. She pops out when we do things, right? She
That's
pops out.
dope. That's
She
dope.
was
That's
one of
dope.
the founding members of. She helped create Boyd.
That's
She
dope.
was
That's
she
dope.
was the one who was handling the Girls of Grace part of it, the
Okay.
girls part.
Okay.
And she worked with me for years before we had our own child. And then
Mm.
she was hey bro, we got pictures of her. She was doing workshops with our son on in that one of them Beyond
Dope.
things, right? And
That's
she's
dope.
teaching
That's
with
dope.
him. And so it got to a point where she was just like, hey, I gotta be a mom. And
Mm.
I gotta, I gotta be a mom. I gotta do these
That's
things.
dope. That's dope.
But
That's
with
dope.
all my kids, it was something. All three of my kids have been in my programs.
Mm.
So Not one kid. So now I'm in rowing. My youngest son is rowing.
Mm.
Um, my oldest son, when I first started the program, he was in it. My middle daughter, she was in the program. She did our summer program. She had it the hardest because she was when I was, summer programs, summer. She,
Yeah,
she had it all, bro.
yeah,
She
yeah.
had boys Saturday, so she was up Saturday mornings.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
that's dope. That's dope.
she was immersed in it. But my
Mhm.
wife, yeah, my family, it's work life balance. But
Yeah,
we are all engaged in all of this together. Like,
that's dope. That's
especially with
dope.
the rowing piece. Once I start doing rowing, he was in rowing.
Mhm.
Now, um, so yeah, she's I'll say it like this. Like, you're right, everything ain't for everybody,
It ain't.
right?
It ain't.
So one of the things you won't say, I don't have to post my cars.
Facts.
For what? For
Facts.
what? Why
Facts.
why I gotta tell you I got a new car? What I
Facts.
gotta tell you that for?
90% of the people not gonna be happy for you, whatever you got. So yeah, facts. No, I respect it. I respect
Right?
it. I respect it.
So
I respect it.
so I use social media for what social media for. It's information, it's entertainment. I can be silly sometimes, but at the end of the day, I'm going to give you some messages. So I use social media for those things.
Yeah, me
Think,
too.
things when she pops out, if we pop out and do something together. If I want that up there, we'll do it.
Hmm.
I don't have to post my vacations. I don't have to
That's
tell
dope.
Facebook
That's dope.
everywhere I'm going because it ain't everybody's business. Like, and
Facts.
do they really care?
No, you're 100% right.
Right?
100% right.
Do you really
100% right.
care? Do you really care that I'll be like, I'll be right back? You ain't seeing me.
Facts. Facts. Facts.
So
Um,
yeah, we're all in this together.
that's dope.
She still counsels me because again, she's a special ed teacher at the high school. So she
Mm,
still gives me some counsel, and she still helps me develop curriculum because she's on the ground. She knows what the kids need, and we sit down. I'm always say I'm the visionary and she's the practical one. So I have a vision and she can put it into a lesson.
that's dope.
And
That's
so
dope.
she
That's
helps
dope.
me create my lessons, right? Because she can remember what you said about those RFPs and proposals. She know
Mm-hmm.
the language. I don't
Mm-hmm.
really know all that language, but she
Mm-hmm.
does. You
100%.
know,
100%.
so
100%.
so we
Um,
you know we work it out.
I always give everybody a chance to thank everybody they feel contributed from their pain to their purpose. So here's your opportunity, man. Call out the names, anybody that you want to thank for your journey that helped you on your journey, man.
Hey, listen, Mike, I respect that, but there will be someone listening and someone looking, and if I mess up a name or if I don't say a
Yeah,
name, you
yeah,
know how
yeah,
that be. Like,
yeah,
yo,
yeah.
you don't. So,
I get you. I get
so
you. I get you. I get
what I would say, brother Mike, is just everyone who has contributed
you. Mm,
to my 24 years of
mm.
doing youth development, of doing the things that I've done. You know who
Mhm.
you are, and I thank you
That's
because
dope, man.
without them, I wouldn't be here. I know we talked that picture back there. That's that Martin Luther King. That was my first big
Yeah,
award.
yeah.
That's
This
the
talk. Yeah.
drum major for Youth Impact of
Mhm.
2007. Drum major for Youth Impact for the state of New Jersey. That was my first big award. And over the
Mhm.
years, bro, I've been a humanitarian. I've been a trailblazer. I've been all of those things, but the biggest title that I hold to my heart is being a dad.
That's dope.
Is being a dad,
That's
you
dope,
know.
bro.
And I said, like I said to the guys in prison a couple weeks ago, somebody asked me a similar question. He said, "Well, what is the biggest thing that you liked about being a dad?" I said, "The unconditional love of your kids.
Mm,
Unconditional love. You could, you
mm.
know, that unconditional love. When they were kids, they ain't see you all day. As soon as you walk in the room, they run into you.
That's dope,
Run
man.
into you. So
That's dope,
that
man.
that's the biggest title that I hold is dad, not husband. The biggest title is dad because they love you unconditionally. And And so,
That's
yeah,
dope, bro. That's
my
dope.
24 years, that's what it's all about, the purpose and legacy, leaving something. So when somebody say, I know your dad, they do it. They get
That's
mad as
dope.
hell too.
Yeah, I know. I bet they do.
Oh,
They
you
can't.
know
They
everybody.
yeah,
I know
they
your
can't
dad.
go. Yeah, they can't go nowhere. Ain't nothing going on. Ain't nothing going on. All right, brother Bruce, man. Thanks for coming on, man. It was 2 hours. It didn't even seem like it, bro. But you
For
did a
real.
great job, man. And you're gonna get tired of me because I'll be posting heavy clips. You know what I mean, on my
Okay.
page. So I'm gonna be posting a lot of clips and tagging you in it, man. I want to thank you for coming on from Pain to Purpose and keep doing the work. And we got to set up a time where I could come and speak, bro. Like I really want to come speak to your crew and tell them my story,
Yeah.
man.
All right.
You know what I mean?
September.
Okay.
Let's when we start kicking off the September, we'll have a new group of boys coming in.
Okay. Okay.
Absolutely, man.
All
We've
right.
been you know when it is, it's Wednesdays.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Just no doubt. I'm gonna pop up. I'm gonna pop up. I'm gonna pop up. You
Okay.
got my word on that. When I get my word, I'm gonna be there. All
All
right.
right. And
All right,
if you
man.
don't, I'm gonna find you.
All right, Bruce. Thanks for coming on, brother. I
All
appreciate
right,
that, man.
brother.
All
Peace.
right, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Yeah, brother Bruce came on tonight, man, and it was great experience, man. That was good talking to Bruce, man, and I wish the brother well with everything he has going on coming up, and it's just a joy to have that kind of um thing going on with brothers like Bruce, man. For him to come on and do what he did is definitely a blessing. I also wanted to remind you guys, stay tuned for September 14th, the release from Pain to Purpose, my first book, man, and all the questions you wanted to ask. What happened? What was going on? You probably saw the cold case file video and the other video. Um 911 did the killer call, but nobody heard my side of the story and what I went through all those years and who was there for me, who abandoned me, you know what I'm saying? The different women, the everything. I'm very transparent. So everything is gonna be in that book. So stay on the lookout for it. It's gonna be released September 14th, 2026. And I want you guys to enjoy the rest of your night. We got another good guest coming on next week. So this is Mike. Enjoy yourself. Shalom.